Rescues, we bought an awesome Thunderbird. Terrible shape, so I did the right thing and bought a Mercer Travel All to pull it home with. 800 miles. Should be fine. This is a terrible idea, actually. Back in Texas, Fort Worth to be exact, got a line on a bunch of cars that have been sitting for decades on this property, and there's supposedly a T-Bird right in this garage to start it off. So let's open up this thing, check this car out. We can walk around, maybe check some others out as well. See if we can get one of these on the road and back to Tennessee. All right. Ice cream, lots of it. Yeah, there's supposed to be a 60s T-Bird in here, parked in the 90s. And there is, in fact, black or green. It's kind of black, colorish looking. No tag on the plate. Well, let's walk around this, see what we got. Well, looking at all the prints here, we got some positive raccoonage, and also I'd say small dog and 2 to 3 cats. They've certainly left some patina. Smells terrible already. Let's see what we got for an engine in this thing. We got 4 flats. Confirmed. Hubcaps are gone. I don't know where those went. Lots of sawdust. I think this garage is fixing to come down. Oh, why is it so moist on the hood? Yeah. There it is. Still got the stickers on the valve covers. Fully complete. Oh, the firewall's cool. It's got the original hand marker crayon thing. AC is still in it. All the belts are still on it. Missing a battery, of course. But we've got completage minus the air filtration system, but I'm not too worried about that. Let's check out the inside. See how bad that is, or if it's sat well in this garage. I think I said late 90s, but maybe we could find a sticker or something to try to validate that as well. I'm just going to open this door because it's right here. Oh, nice maroon interior. Oh, wow. Wow. There's... Oh... It smells like a bear cave full of adult diapers. It's really sour. So moist, my eyes are watering. Looks like it's in neutral, so it's probably pushed in here. That's a good sign. No. Probably didn't run. Windshield's cracked up. 8-track. I don't even know how to run any of this stuff. It looks like most of the stuff is in here, though. And all the bells. I can't breathe. That's enough. That's enough for me. Evacuate. Get out of here. So unfortunately, we've got no keyage. Ignition sticks are gone. Oh, here we go. 96. Math. Carry the 7. 28 years it's been sitting in here. So here's the deal. We're going to leave with 2 things. A title to this car and pink eye. Yeah, we made a deal on this rig, but it's not in an ideal space to work on this thing. Plus, no, it's terrible in there. So let's go walk this property. I heard there's some trucks and vans and things. Got an idea. What if we get something else running and then try to pull this home to Tennessee? It's only like 1,200 miles or something. It'd be fine. Let's go see what we can find. The Undeterred. Oh yeah, I see some stuff back here. Well, this thing's sweet. Little short box, big back window. Really cool, but too short of a wheelbase. Long wheelbases are ideal for towing. This thing's cool too. Not gonna work. Still love it. Ooh, we got a van. Got Vantage. Half-ton Chevrolet Vantage. Backup lights, those lights. It's got a hitch. Oh, very homemade-ish though. I'm gonna say that's probably not gonna work for us. Pretty sweet van though. Ooh, international. Over here. International travel haul. Sweet. I'm not much of an expert on the travel hauls. I'm more of a scout guy. Well, they're virtually the same thing. This has the 1,000 badge, so it's got to be a 69 or 70. In 71, they changed that. So it's just a half-ton little guy. These were made from, I think, 53 to 75. And in 74, the Chevrolet Suburban came out with the 4-door and, well, better options, better pricing, more horsepower, better fuel economy. And the oil crisis hit at the same time. International said goodbye to the travel haul. They hung on to the Scout until 1980, and then that too went away. But these were kind of the first to come out with the 4-door and the large SUV kind of flavor. They're really sweet looking rigs, actually. Let's just jump right in, see if this is a candidate. Should we start in the rear, see if it's got a hitch even? Yeah, good idea. Oh, yes. We got something. Oh, it's got a big receiver hitch on it. To the frame. That's already stuck in there and frozen in. It's probably pretty good. We should probably dig through this thing and see if there's even an engine and transmission. These came with 5 different engines, a mix of AMCs and Internationals, and 5 transmissions. There's a lot going on. Let's take a look. How do we get in it? Open. Go. Start. Okay, let's try the side door. I don't know how to run that. Wow, these open way up. Oh, ceiling curtains. That's nice. 17 different fans. I'm gonna say the air conditioning doesn't work. Welding mask. Needed one of those. Oh, new in the box Jeff Gordon fan pack. 3 of them. I'll take no less than 100 each. I know what I got. Look, what I'm saying is I don't see engine heads or water pumps or a transmission laying back here. So far, we're off to a good start. Let's check the front seats out. Gotta be careful. Some of these Internationals had asbestos in them, you know. You want to breathe that in. Nope. 84,000 miles, it says. Stuck at 50. I like it. Another lawnmower accessory. Toro, of course. Full of mouse-eating plastic bags. Got some home decorations. Oh, wow. Ooh, bank bag. Maybe we could pay this thing off. No. Okay. The interior is perfect. I see nothing wrong here whatsoever. Let's get under the hood. Okay. Well, we got an engine in here. We got a 2-barrel Holly, which means it's not the 345 or the 392, unfortunately. That's probably going to be the little 304. So we got 78 horsepower here. That's pretty good for towing. But it'll probably, maybe, could possibly work. Okay? We got all the hoses and doodads in it. We got whatnots, points. There was a bird that died in there, apparently. 58 million feathers, literally. But the hoses and cables and stuff, pretty good shape. The transmission's in there still. It's an Automagical. It's severely low on oil. It's fine, well taken care of. Okay. So I think this is our candidate. 1970, we'll call it International. Travel none. Right now, it will be a travel haul. Hear me out. Just like we did in the Chevrolet and the tractor, can we get this running and pull the Undeterred back to Tennessee? We'll just go to a certain rental place and say, I've got a 2024 Silverado and I'm pulling a Kia. And they'll say, yeah, and then we'll just put it on this. See what I'm saying? So let me get a battery, some tools, accoutrement, see if we get this fired up and moving, and then we'll figure out the rest. Okay, plan. All right, battery installed. We're gonna see if this thing cranks over first and foremost. Guy can't fit his arms down in there, so we're just gonna hit her with the battery. See what happens. We gotta work on fuel. We have to work on sparkles. This has two fuel tanks. One on it's like a saddle tank in the front fender, and one that's supposed to be in the rear, which is a little pocket tank. One of them ought to work. I don't know which. We'll figure it out. Okay, train. We get it. You're driving. I didn't even look if there's a key for this. Ha-ha! It's barely turning over. Oh, there we go. Let's see if it builds any oil pressure. Ooh, that starter sounds terrible. Again. Oh, no! Okay, I'm just going to leave that be because we're about 17 cranks away from putting a starter in this, which is not fun. But the engine rotates, kind of, so that's good news, and we now have a Super Tool 300 ignition key. All right, progress. Who would have knew that gas eats soy sauce lids? True fuel, and I just happened to figure out works perfectly in this little soy sauce container. I'll fill the bowl up, crank on this thing, see if it'll fire. Make sure it's not knocking on heaven's door, and then we can continue on. Come on, bring in the thunder. No sparkles. The wire to the distributor is completely fried. Okay, I need this back. That is now our key. Perfect. Filing the points. Filing points. Doing it incorrectly. I'm not an expert, but I'm going to say it has something to do with this melted wire. So, let's go ahead and replace that. Okay, we've got spark. Perfect. All right, let's crank her again. It's running. Yes. Sounds terrible. Perfect. Antifreeze leak. Valve train is not happy, but it is very low in oil. That's probably all we want to run it before we change on the Earls. But it's running. I can't see nothing. I guess we can just trust the transmission works. This is the Lone Wolf 6000. You know, since I work alone. Can't be in the rig and running everything out here, so you got... By the way, I'm down to 12 starts left, so... Caribbean, Hawaii, Mexico. Places I should be. That's that move. Okay, here's the plan. Don't have one. Here's the next step, though. I'm going to jack this up, take this tire off, look at the fuel selector switch, which should be in the fender well, and subsequently also the digital pump that I can hear running. Figure out how to get fuel from this big tank to the fuel make it happener. And hope the tank is good. So like I thought, there's an electric fuel pump. Here's the problem. The filler neck is rotted. There's going to be no way to put fuel in this. Well, if a guy could just find some hose like this down here at the Hardmore store, I could sleeve it. Is what I'm thinking. Can a guy just run hose inside of this hose into the fuel tank, leave that hose hanging out here, then all I got to do is plug my gas can into it. I think that's what we're going to do. I feel like I do hear some going in. It's fine. Nobody smoke. So I'm trying to get this electric fuel pump running again. And then we're going to see if it actually pumps fuel from the tank that we just professionally re-sleeved. There we go. Varnished fuel from the 90s. Now it's cleaning up. There's our clear fuel. Oh yeah, I think we're good. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put a new fuel tray on, and then we should be able to click that pump back on, see what it's doing inside the filter. We'll put a clear one in, so we can monitor the amount of impurities. There we go. Looks pretty good. You can hear the bowl filling in the carb. We'll adjust that needle and seat. We'll find out in a second if it's going to blow through it. Yep. Well, I do believe a guy has a stock floating here. It's been sitting for almost 30 years and probably varnished in a position. So when the fuel's coming in, that's not rising to make that, needle seat into the needle seats. So I'm going to go ahead and just toss what I can out of this kit into here. Just a quick, dirty rebuild. And then throw this back on the truck, and hopefully she'll pop right off and won't flood anymore. We should go ahead and check the blood stick on the shift machine, because if that's bone dry, probably should go ahead and change the oil quick. Then we're going to fire this thing up and we're going to let it run for quite some time. We got to make sure the head gaskets are working, the other gaskets are doing gasket things, bring some heat back into this thing slowly but surely, and then we can see if it actually shifts. Guys down here in Texas, I bought a Undeterred over in the garage there. It's in terrible shape currently. Decided to go ahead and try to tow her home, so picked up this travel yacht. We're going to see if we can get this thing fired up and idling here. Got to check the transmission ATF. We got fresh oil in it. We did some ignition wiring. Did a fender rebuild on the fuel, make it happen here. It should fire up and idle, well, in theory. So let's see what happens here. Might have to prime it here. There we go. See if that valve tray noise goes away with some fresh oil. Put 2050 in it, a little thicker elixir. Fighting down a little. I think this is officially the longest it's ran in 28 years. It's pretty awesome. Just in the idle, and fix the vacuum leak on it, and I'll get to the air and fuel mixture screws in a second, which are back here. So I think the guy has some fuel delivery issues. This pump seems to be getting real weak. So I'm going to make sure we're not pulling up any big chunks. I got that tore out, obviously. Going to throw this hose on here and just use the old wind bag, see if we can get fuel free flowing, and if we can, then we know the tank side's okay. I've decided to go ahead and put a, mechanical pump, which is what was in it, and see if this will suck lives on the fuel. Yeah, it's one less switch to arc out and burn the rig down anyway. Well, now we're going to give her the old mechanical fuel pump a try. Check our filter down here. Yep, it is full of fuel. We're back to where we were at 9:45 a.m. Yes! We should test the transmission before we call it a night. Wow, this thing is a smoker. Why do all our cars, the radio works when you touch weird stuff? Drive! Yes! Oh man, we got a runner. Yep. Well, hey, the truck is running-ish. It's getting better. The smoking has calmed down a little bit. And it's moved about a foot. A foot of 800 miles we've still got to travel. And remember, we're not just traveling in this. We've got to figure out if we can pull that Undeterred stuck in that garage. We're going to try to deal with that tomorrow, but first we still have to adjust brakes and tires and wheels and everything on this. Gonna let this run for just 20-30 minutes tonight, pack up, and then Texas things like steaks, wet the back neck, stuff like that. See you in the morning. Hey, it's day 2 down in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. A guy bought a 68 Undeterred. It's stuck away in a shed over there. It's in terrible condition, which is perfect. But I decided to try to pull the thing home and work on it properly in my shop back in Tennessee. So we acquired the travel yawl. We got it running yesterday. We did a bunch of work to it. It moved a foot. So we started this morning off by putting new glass in it. That makes sense. Now, today is brakes. Since we're going to be pulling a car that weighs 11 million metric tons, it's got to stop goodlier, kind of-ish, you know what I mean? So I'm going to start with the master cylinder, snap a couple lines off, start replacing those, work my way to the wheel cylinders that are bad, bend the drums off that we can't find, they're irreplaceable, and then go from there. All right, let's dig in. Over on here with the cylinder of masters. Guy hit it with my earth pounder. It's not really doing anything. I'm assuming the seals on the piston that racks back and forth in here is just completely gone. After sitting for however many million years this has been sitting. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this master cylinder off. We're going to bleed another one, hook up the lines. This is all in theory and hopeful. And then we'll try to gravity bleed this and see if the wheel cylinders are still going to work. Chances are they're just full of powder and they're going to go and then we'll be digging into those. Truthfully, this is going to be a delicate procedure because you cannot find these drums. You cannot find them. So getting them off is going to be delicate, getting them on, all of this. If they're bad, we're going to have to pretend they're good. But by the end of today, we need to have brakes in this thing because we have a long drive back, 800 miles towing in this vehicle. This show should just be called Driving Cars Without Brakos. I've determined the brakes are bad all over the place. The brake line, rubber brake lines in the front were just so old, they were just pinched closed. Think of it like a garden hose, and if you were to step on it, the fluid might be able to barely get through, but it's not going to come back. So we needed to replace the lines. Unfortunately, we're learning that International had zero consistency or quality control on virtually anything except the window cranks, and the brake parts all over the place. In this particular vehicle, the fitting on the lines do not match the replacement rubber hoses. So now I need to make my own little line with an adapter to go to the new line, to go to the smaller adapter, to go to a barrel connector, to go to the fitting on the truck, to go into the hose. Dr. Seuss brakes. We don't have a bench vise, so we're over here using our travel yawl. And we're just gonna make some fittings right here. This is my life. I just realized. There you go. Brakes by Bieri. They'll barely work, but they'll slow you down. able to get juice out of this wheel cylinder. So now we just need to take 74 hours and do the other two. Well, let's do the front one first, and then I'm going to decide if I'm even going to attempt to do the rear. Hey, the brakes are done, or at least good enough, you know what I mean? So now, I'm going to start cleaning the inside out. I got tires on the way, they're in the route, but not here yet, so we can't do that. So I'm going to go ahead and get all this stuff out of here. The feller we bought this from, well, he wants to keep some of this. I was looking forward to the shop vac and the igloo cooler, but he wants it. So, we're going to start getting some stuff out of here and transfer it over to his truck. Lampshades, big mouth bass. These are the ones that talk on your wall, you know. Batteries is dead. That's too bad. Should we look what's in here? Nada. This is a nice cooler. Must have been a mobile welding rig. Say this fella liked lamps. I got updates. So it runs, it shifts. We cleaned out the interior. It's snazzy. I mean, they put seats in it and house carpet and spray painted everything. Baby blue. Looks pretty good. We think the brakes might be good. Actually, I was just getting ready to go test that. And then I was letting it run here and the water pump went out. It's weeping out of the weep hole, which is a telltale sign you need to change this thing now. Also, I discovered a massive intake leak by spraying everything with brake clean, and sure enough, she's revving up on the drinker side of the engine over here. And that's why we got a weird idle and hesitation and down on power. So instead of test driving this and potentially leaving late tonight, early tomorrow morning after we dig out the Undeterred, we're tearing the truck all the way down. Sweet. Let's get after it. So this thing that looks like a Lego is actually a water pump for internationals. The problem is we have a different style water pump. There's two. This one is a big threaded nut that holds the fan and the pulley assembly on, where this is an updated version. We need to convert this because it's very difficult to find the big threaded nut. Talked to an international expert and he mentioned a hammer and a big chisel, and then I thought, aha, what if we just hit it with the gas axe? Can't be tight if it's liquid. We're going to cut this whole fan off because we actually have a different fan and fan clutch. Then I can get access to this water pump, take it off, take the pulleys apart, convert the pulleys to this water pump, and then reassemble everything. And by late tonight, hopefully we'll have the water pump done. Then I'm going to decide if I'm actually going to dig into this intake or if we're just going to deal with it running on 6. Now I'm going to get on every international blog and just be like, torch it off. You know how rare those are? It only needed everything. We found a 4-barrel intake for this particular engine that we think might fit in a 4-barrel carburetor. So this little feller's coming off, and we're going to put the 4-barrel on because I have to take that off anyway to change the gaskets. We might as well spice this up a little bit. We're going to want some HPs under us if we're going to be pulling that Thunderbird back. Got the old intake off, which, by the way, weighs about 92.6 pounds at minimum. Here's the old intake gasket, and we can see right here corrosion from the top side. So that would be our intake leak that I found with a can of brake clean. So all of that work for this cheap little gasket. Sweet. But we're going to fix it. We're going to make it more gooder too by putting that fair bear on there. Get some more HPs out of it. Valiant effort was given, but I'm going to shut it down for tonight. We did get the 4-barrel intake on. We have interference issues with the fuel make it happen, unfortunately. Every time you rock the throttle, it lifts the carb. Going to look at that tomorrow. It's going to involve part stores and stuff like that. I also have a new fan over here that was supposed to work on our water pumps. That's not working on our water pump. But there's good news. I have tires and wheels to show you in the morning, and we're still going to attempt to pull the Thunderbird out of that garage and pull it home, although we are very much behind, but it's only 800 miles. We'll be fine. See you in the morning. Back on the travel, y'all. Boy, I was thrashing on this late last night, trying to get it running, but we were missing a few key pieces. We're still trying to get this Thunderbird out of a garage 100 yards from here, and I'm tied up in this thing. We have got to get it out today for a couple of key reasons. One, the raccoon decaying in the corner over there is really starting to get in the wind bags, you know what I mean? Also, there's 2,000 popsicles being moved in refrigerators, and apparently they have a sit time of about 52 minutes. So, I've got to get the fuel make it happen on, get the fan back on, the radiator in, all that stuff, get tires and wheels on this, hook a chain on that T-Bird and get it out of that garage ASAP, then 800 miles home. Hey. Smells like a riverboat porta potty. Stings the eyes. Please run better. We got a new fan clutch in here, which is the updated version instead of the giant screw-on clutch. Got the old Radgelina Jolie here. See if we can get this in. Just gotta go at an angle. Get around the hoses. And then you tilt this way. Oh, that wasn't bad at all. Not going to put the old fan shroud on because it's held together with 74 different types of wire. I think I saw a shoelace in there and part of a TV dinner. I really never want to see this truck again. But I have to drive in it for 3 days. Hopefully just 2. No, it'll break down and be a week. Yeah! Gotta go back to basics. Spark, fuel, compression. I'll figure it out. Don't worry. Don't worry, I said! I'll figure it out! Okay, sorry I got mad. Okay, I'll fire up the corn binder here with its new get-up. Yeah. There we go. Gotta keep it running, our battery's dead, but we need it to charge. Don't worry about that. The only thing this is gonna pull is ex-wives. Oh, great. Now we can hear the engine's not doing this, wandering all over the place and idling weird. That was the bad intake gasket. Got that resolved. sit here and idle because I got to charge up the battery. Whoops. And then I got to show you guys some really cool tires and wheels that are period correct, suit the truck well, hook onto a T-Bird, see how much power this thing has. So believe it or not, these used to be chrome. They sat so long it actually rotted holes right through the wheels themselves. So we were forced to get wheels as well. Like the white letter, of course you gotta go with white letter, but these are more of a light duty tire. We went with a little bit more heavy duty KO2 all-terrain by BFG, and then the old cheapo white steel wagon wheel. Can't beat these things. They look pretty good on most trucks, and it's period correct for this guy. So I'm gonna bolt these on quick, and then we can go for our first drive. So I'm gonna put this air cleaner on quick so we're not sucking insulation. Then I'm gonna jump in. We're gonna do some yard braking. We don't have power brakes yet. We'll fix that later, but I still should be able to romp on the brake pedal and bring this thing to a stop. Oh man, I think that's probably the best brakes we've ever had in Roadworthy. Oh yeah. Let's go get a Thunderbird. Hey look, we're finally working on the car we came to Texas to get, the 68 Thunderbird. Now worst case scenario, all four wheels would be locked up. So now we're gonna navigate it out of this broken concrete garage thing between 2,000 popsicles and crates and other obstacles, probably got 3 inches on each side somehow, and try to steer this thing whilst skidding. And then we haven't even talked about figuring out how to make it roll, get on a dolly, and travel back to Tennessee. But I did get a chain on it. We also got wind and 3.5 tires, old bias plies, thankfully, so they held a little bit of air. So we're gonna back the rig in here, give it a tug, and just play it play by play, I guess. Hey look, T-Bird's outside for the first time in almost 3 decades. We almost took a garage down and we melted 2,000 popsicles. But we got it. This thing did fine. Travel all update. Hey, we got this thing fired up after sitting for like 28 years or whatever it was. Drove it 100 yards, and then its first job again was to pull a car. I got a sticking throttle issue that's weird with the shifter. They're combined somehow. Also, I think we've developed another fuel leak on the fuel tank, so I'm gonna do the right thing, try to find like a boat tank or something, throw it in the back seat, because we're just out of time. We gotta make some miles down. Now we're gonna switch our attention to the Thunderbird. I gotta get the tires unstuck, get it on a dolly, and then we're gonna hit the road. Hey, this is a drive shaft to a Ford Thunderbird. It's got 19 new joints for some reason. Pulled this out so we could freewheel this thing, so when we're pulling it on the tow dolly, it's not spinning the transmission in neutral as well. So basically the only thing spinning is the rear axle, which has its own gear oil obviously. So we're gonna mount some fresh tires on the old wheels so we don't blow one of them. I got some sort of fuel tank, rigged that into the travel all, and we're finally on the road. All of this just to get this T-Bird back to Tennessee. It's gonna be a fun project though. Keep going, keep going. Yep, keep going. Up, up. Okay, back. Well, it took some time, but we got her going. We had to put a fuel pump in this thing. Brake lines, brake master cylinder, brake booster, intake gasket, 4-barrel intake, new carburetor. We put some rad hoses in it, belts. and a really sweet NHRA fuel tank, but it runs, it stops, and the radio almost works. Now we're gonna see if it tows a Thunderbird. So far, she's pulling great, as long as it don't fall off. And if it does, I guess we're gonna see how fast the old travel all goes. Speedometer says 80 right now, so that seems to work fine. Got no temp gauge, got no oil pressure, got no fuel gauge. Actually, I do have a fuel gauge. It's called Look. We're about half a tank. I think I got a motor mount out. And I can tell because when I hit the throttle, the shifter moves about 7 inches. But we don't need both of them. That's why they make two. Should talk about my goals today. It was to drive halfway, but that's not going to happen. So the goal now is to go 121 miles to get Onion Volcano, which is what my boys call hibachi. But then I'll be happy. If we can make it that far, it'll be dark. Get some good hibachi, see how many miles we can put down tomorrow. I ain't got tail lips or lamps, turn signals, and none of that stuff, so. Oh, something is terribly amiss. Yeah, let's pull off here. I got a lot of smoke in the cab. Yeah, it smells like transmission fluid or something. Oh, they're really smoking. It's still running. Well, we've pulled over to the side of the road. This thing is smoking like crazy all of a sudden, right when we got to about 55. This is not good. So that's going to do for this episode of Roadworthy Rescues. A guy managed to get this old Travelall back on the road, kind of ish. Only made it about 100 miles, and now I've got, well, it looks like transmission oil puking everywhere. But stay tuned for part 2 to see if I can haul this old T-Bird back to Tennessee and do some work on it. I'm on Roadworthy Rescues. We exhume a Studebaker that's been off the road for 39 years. The search for forgotten classic cars has brought a guy to north central Oklahoma. You might assume it's these beautiful square bodies back here, but it's not. It's actually what's stored in the shipping container back here. It's a pretty eclectic, rare, and unique car. Let's check it out. It's probably worth noting this car was bought sight unseen. That's just the way it goes. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we... Let's see what we got in here. Let's see what's in here. Haha, yes! A 1947 Studebaker Champion, but it's even the Starlight Coupe, which makes this girl actually very rare and sought after. That's the rear of the car. Can't quite see it. These were made from 39 to 58. This is a third generation, which was 47 to 52. I actually have a couple of these old gals, and they're really neat cars. This one's been sitting in here for a handful of years. It's supposed to maybe sort of run, but we're told that it just doesn't have brakes. That's weird. It's going to be a lot of fun. So let's check this thing out as much as we can. It's pretty tight in here, but that's just the way she goes. So from 1947 to 1955 on the Champion and Commander models, Studebaker offered this really cool spaceship-looking glass, and this was the Starlight Coupe. They're actually very hard to find, and they're even harder to find with this glass intact. They usually get robbed, stolen, borrowed forever, or unfortunately broken out. This one appears to be complete, which already means this purchase is awesome. You can see this kind of weird boat shape. This is a very World War II-esque kind of shape that cars went through. And Studebaker was at the front of just really weird designs, like how you open the trunk back here by pulling that lever. And then it kind of hides away. I'm surprised that opened, actually. We can't really walk around this thing too much, but I can tell you from this side anyway, it looks rust-free. And we're going to pretend we looked at the other side and it's also rust-free. Yes. Also, there are some incredible Ellis Charmels lawnmowers in here, including a 920 diesel and a couple B12s. That's really sweet. I guess let's look inside. Oh, that's typical. Don't worry about that. All right. Wow, we got some saggage, some seat coverage, some cuppage. Ooh, smells like a litter box full of wet socks. It's enticing. But look how beautiful this interior is. You got just all these beautiful ornate knobs and the gold and the way the gauges are set up and everything in here. These are just really cool cars. The levers on the car, the outside, inside, the trunk, all were really, really neat. But the hood, not so much. It's actually this guy right here. And they most commonly don't work. The optimistic plan is to get this running, make it, a little bit roadworthy, and drive it, I don't even know how many hundreds of miles back to Tennessee. Triage. By the way, I should mention, I'm not a Studebaker expert. Anyway, let's open the hood. Should have a cute little flathead in here. Oh, there she goes. Oh, yeah. We got completage. Minus the battery, of course. Never got a battery. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're all still there. All be dipped. Got a newish-ish looking fuel pump. We got the fuel happener still on there. That's good. Of course, it's a point system. Starter's still in it. It's got all the right hoses and whatnot. The dual horns. Wow. Original rad. Hello? That's empty. We're off to a good start here. It's got some juice in it. It's 4-chord slow. It's fine. We should probably make sure this thing turns over and even runs. And then we got to figure out if we're actually going to put a master cylinder in this or if we're going to trade it for that 55 Ford sitting over there. So I think the first thing a guy's going to do is just make sure the engine spins over freely by hand. It's been sitting a long time. I actually just noticed walking around again, the plate says 85, which is carry the 4 divided by 6, 39 years. It's a long time. And then we'll figure out if the starter switch works and the relay and the actual starter and all that stuff. Okay? Okay, plan. So I'm just going to grab the fan blades here. Oh yeah, she's rotating. Oh, I hear compression too. I'll be dipped. Look at that. Yeah, so we're safe to go ahead and install a battery. And this is a positive ground unit unless it's been messed with. And we're going to find that out very quickly by doing this. I think we're good. We're trying to see if we have a key. We don't. That's really weird. So there are no ignition sticks. It's dangling out of the dash. I'm going to assume someone's been doing what I was doing beforehand. And I can't get the door all the way open and I can't waller in there. Sasquatch. So I'm going to try to put some wind in the wheels. got some ramps here off a trailer. Try to push this thing outside where we could see what in the devil is going on with this thing. Here we go. Okay. Okay, here we go now. Guess what? The wheels are locked up. So maybe we hook a chain and we'll just drag it out of here. Yeah, that's a good idea. Here's that plate, 85. This was parked pretty much when I was born. Think about it. I'm going to jump in the trunk, see if the keys are back here. Or what else we have. Wow, the breather is in here for the engine. Check this out. No way. Old school inflator. You don't need them battery ones. You just use this guy. It's pretty cool. We've got ice cube juice. Spot remover, that's a cool can. I'm gonna keep that. We got a mouse house, another brick. We got a ridge wheel. Some more mouse houses. Hello. Time to go. Eminent domain. That's it. No keys, unfortunately. I guess we're gonna have to wire in a lawnmower key or something to this thing, but let's continue to try to jump it with miscellaneous wires, pliers, vice grips, pieces of wood. The starter relay is not starter relaying. Got no brakes, got no running engine, got no key, got no starter. What are the chances we bought one? That. So now I'm going to spend 74,000 hours getting the throttle linkage, part of the distributor, the whole distributor, and other things out, just so I can pull the two bolts out to get this off. Zebra. Yes! Let's drive. But anyway, good news. We found a starter motor right here that works. I bench tested it on the tailgate over there. Put this back in, then we will resume trying to see if we can get this to start. Oh, don't forget about the lawnmower key. At least they make them late. You can just drive it right out of the container, Derek. And then all you gotta do is put wheels on it. Oh, sweet. Hey, the starter's in. I think I got it hooked back up. I got my lone wolf hooked up. It should make starter noises and turn the engine over. Yes! Barely. Wow, motor is tight. Should just whoever called it a funny bone needs to be audited. Okay, this is really just getting on my nerves, and I know it's factory. People are gonna cringe right now, but I ain't got the time. I'm not gonna risk taking the head bolt off. It's the last thing we're gonna do. Yep. Yes. Okay. Yep. All right. Oh, yep. Oh, it's easy. blowing all of the mouse droppings and welcome notes out of the way. We're going to juice this thing up like Arnold Schwarzenegger with a little bit of whatever this mystery oil is. That cylinder must be up because it's not taking nothing. And then we'll let this sit. It's going to lubricate the rings, the cylinder walls, all of that stuff. And then we'll spin it over and shoot all of it back out. But we're going to let it sit while I'm working on spark and fuel. So these are points or contacts, depends on who you ask and what time of day it is. And their job is simple. They're opening and closing the connection or circuit for the ignition here. When they sit over time, they build up a film or sulfur or some sort of stuff. Bimetallic corrosion, essentially. Okay? And then they don't contact correctly. So I'm just in here with my Leatherman filing away. See? And then we can apply electricity back to the ignition coil, test them, and we should see or hear spark. If you roll it by hand, you can hear it. You hear that clicking? We got spark, that means! Boy, it's 2 cylinders are trying to fire. That's better than 6. Come on, bring the thunder. Keep bringing it. Oh yeah, it's barely even smoking. Keep in mind, most of that's Marvel mystery oil. I don't know what's in it. It's a mystery, but it does smoke. Boy, this sounds terrible, doesn't it? £60 of oil pressure, and it's charging. I am going to shut it off, though. It has no water in it. Wow. Well, there you go. The old Studebaker is baking. Probably overbaked. It's smoking a lot. Okay, it sounds horrible. It's pretty good. But we've only got, how many? 700 miles? It seems fine. So let's go ahead and change the oil. Maybe that'll put new bearings in it. And we should consider maybe putting some fresh fuel in it. That might be part of the reason it's running on 1.5 cylinders. Then we'll put some coolant in it. See how bad the head gasket leaks. And then we can test the clutch. And then confirm for the 40th time we don't have brakes. Only place this thing's driving is the junkyard. We got bad valve drain issues. Very bad. It's shooting fuel out the carb, so the valves aren't closing and opening as they should. Everything's fine. Okay, it's running on 3. Let's see if it moves. Clutch test. First gear. Yep, it might maybe pull itself. Reverse. Oh yeah. First. Yep. Reverse. First. You see where I'm going here? We got a clutch. So here's what a guy's gonna do. I'm gonna jump in this thing, tootle it around the yard here for a second to this machine shed or shop down here. I don't know what it is. And we could continue to work on it there, but this is the first time this car's moved under its own power in, long time. This should be pretty fun, actually. We're going. Oh, wow, the torque. About lost my hat. These were a really nice, elegant, middle luxury car back then. If you sold Maytag dryers or owned a gas station, you probably had one of these back in the day, you know. Oh, left front's a little flat. I think we're on the rim. That's all right. Oh, yep, ignore that. I got no brakes. I also can't turn the ignition off. I didn't think about this very good. One of the main reasons these cars are parked, remember the bandit brake situation there? Yeah, they're, master cylinders in the floor, and they're not the easiest to replace. Some would say you have to cut the entire floor out and then pry and then hit it with hammers, and let's just say I might have been there many times. So you have beautiful cars like this that the brakes fail, the master cylinder in particular, they just get parked because they're such a difficult job. We thought we might have a lift, but it's broke. What? See, this is the problem, how do you work on it? There's no room to do anything. Good news, this is a brake master cylinder. Why don't we go up top, through the duct tape floor, fill this with juice, and just see maybe somehow, some way, this just starts working again. Very unlikely, but let's try it. We could put some juice in it, and maybe the seals would just rejuvenate. Yeah, it just coughed. It's full of rust. Well, the pedal's coming back up. You can't make this stuff up. We might only be running 4 brake lines instead of 12. What I need to do is acquire a bench vise, because I got to take off the Snootson rod over to the axle diagrameter that runs into the piston limiter up to this rod, which is a neutrometer to the clutch pedal. That also has split barrels for the line chutes. But I don't think I can do it just trying to manually twist it, so we got to figure that out. So I got one SAE croissant wrench on here. Then I'm going to take another one and just work them against each other here. And see if I can get this to free up. Oh, I got it. I must have had some leverage on it for some reason. Put this here. Allegedly. Wow. If that ain't the cutest thing I ever seen. Worked. Now everything has to go back in. the guys hit a roadblock for today. We did get the Champion running. It was a lot of fun pulling it out of the container, drove it around the yard a little bit, got it into the shop here, got the master cylinder in, but I don't have all the fittings I need to finish up the brake system, so I'm actually going to call it for tonight, throw some groceries down the app in the morning, start collecting fittings and some line, and we're going to come back and get these brakes finished up because we've got a long road trip. It runs. We got to get the thing going down the road, though. See you in the morning. Good morning. Said fitting hunt led me to these. This is all we have in this entire county, so that seems fine. I'm short a lot. So here's what's going to happen. I don't have a bench vise in here, so I couldn't bench bleed the master cylinder last night. So I'm going to use wherever I put the 316 line at and swing it under the door jamb back into the pot and try to bleed that and then hook up the lines. And then I'm going to do wheel cylinders and then snap off the lines to the wheel cylinders, replace the rubber lines. I'm doing brakes all day. I have done drum brakes on every inch of this earth, on every type of vehicle, except the 47 Studebaker. Turns out they are highly confusing and weird. I read a manual, it confused me. I read it more, it confused me more. So now I'm just debating whether or not to take this off because it's like a jack in the box. Once it's out, good luck putting it back. Special tool in my behind. It's called a vice grip. Complete. So here's the rear shoe up this side here, and you can see how thick the pad is down here, and it's gone just shredded on the top, and that's from the e-brake being actuated. It pulls on this, which would rock the top part of the shoe back like that. So this tells me not only does this dude not have brakes, it hasn't had brakes for 23 years minimum. Good news, bad news. The good news is we still don't have brakes. The bad news is I got to work on brakes. But look, I have some pedal, which means that the master cylinder surgery we did is working. The fronts work excellent. I failed to replace the rubber line in the back that goes from the frame to the axle because, let's face it, I'm lazy. But here's the thing. It's so constricted, I'm not getting any fluid to all the new drums and hardware and everything in the rear. So unfortunately, I got to crawl back under the car and try to get that rubber line replaced without snapping 3 hard lines. Now I'm going to break all of them. Okay. There was some old brake fluid on one of the lines. Now the ham gravy coming out is what we want to see, not the beef gravy. Found the key. All this actually does is just turn on accessories and everything like that. The starter switch is actually on the floor. This is a 3-pole ignition switch, and we have a 5-pole lawnmower one. This one, the start is actually cranking here, but the start switch for the Stewart is actually on the floor. Now I could technically use this and just turn it on and then use the foot switch, but first, because I'm lazy, I'm just gonna try to use my drill bit key and see if I can just turn this with a plier or a screwdriver and avoid having to do any of that stuff, because I just really want to drive it right now. There we go. So now you can see the end of the tumbler is this little flat edge, and it happens to match so now I can just go boop, 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 just like that. See if the switch works. Okay, ignition coming hot. Now. And contact. Nothing. So unfortunately, the starter switch is bad. Starter's hanging up. Like a Swiss watch. Two cylinders are missing. You can hear it. We're still going to try to drive it. Maybe it'll come back around, you know? Could be one of the world's first 4-cylinder Studebakers. If you're handed a lemon, trade it for whiskey, is what I always say. All right, let me show you the tires. They're really awesome. No. Hey, check out these hot rods. Travel Star. Sure. Whatever. They're gonna work. Of course, you have to put the white wall out. I'm not a huge fan of white walls, I gotta be honest, but they do fit some vehicles. And this one, I think it's fitting. Probably should be a little wider, but that's okay. So a guy found a self-serve car wash a couple miles down the road. So we're gonna fire this thing up, slam the hood, jump in, drive it downtown, wash this thing up for the first time in I don't know how long. And then we'll better see what we're working with, and we'll get some miles on this thing. Right. Ha! Like a dream. We are the champions, my friend. I'm gonna leave that. Don't worry about that. All right. Brake check. Oh, wow. I think that's probably the best brakes we've ever had on the show. If I'm being honest, I can't see them. Okay. Struggling to get out of first gear. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be going down the highway with the girl. This is about top speed. What did I hit, 20? It wants to run, but I'm concerned that we've got a couple bent push rods or something going on. And unfortunately, the inspection cover for the valve train is right underneath the intake and the exhaust, so it's not a quick little look like a Ford 300, for example, or a Chevrolet. You can just pop the cover out the other side. This has got some work to even take a look. Woo! New record, 28! Man, it's too bad. Car handles terribly, so that's good. But it's fun to drive. It looks neat. Headlightage coming in. Boom. Look at that. We do have headlights. And the brake lights are stuck on. So technically we have tail and brake lights. That's going to do it for tonight. I'm just going to keep working on the car here, try to get some of this stuff off, clean it up, take it right back to the shed. We've got some more work to do on this thing for sure. See you in the morning. Really cool Studebaker Commander Starlight. Check out this glass. It was tucked away in a container here in Oklahoma. Hadn't run in many years. The plate said 1985. After a complete brake job, going through the ignition system, a couple other things, it's officially roadworthy. We drove it last night. We went to the car wash and, well, the paint looks terrible. Now, originally, I had hoped we could road trip this thing all the way back to Vice Grip Garage in Tennessee, but I don't think this little flathead has it in it. However, doesn't mean we can't cruise it around locally. So here's the plan. We're going to put some slick on this thing. Do something with the paint here and do something with the wheels. Clean it up a little bit more. Address a few small items on the car. We're going to hit the back roads. Try to find some cool plastics, some other stuff to look at. We're still going to have a lot of fun. First, let's see if we can bring this paint back around. When this car was first in the container and I glanced at it, I thought maybe it was original paint, but now that it's out, you can clearly see someone just painted the entire car, glass, rubber, trim, and it's a really weird, chalky, old single stage, basically. It's like clay. I'm going to use some cutting compound, try to get through the oxidation. If we can get some luster out of it without a ton of work, we'll keep going. I did bring some shine around. It's looking pretty good, actually. I am unfortunately out of pads, though. I bought the store completely out. And of course, there's a bunch of old paint just clogging these things up. So I'm going to roll this outside, take a look at it in the daylight. Then I got a few more things to touch up looks-wise. I think we're ready to go cruise again. So I think I'm finished with the paint here. It's good enough to be a go-in-the-town rig. So now I'm going to move on to the tires and wheels. Now normally, a guy throws a package at these cars, spruces them up. Wheels and tires can make or break a project in the looks department. But in this particular case, I don't want to take away from any of this really cool, iconic styling. So I'm just going to throw the original hubcaps back on. But I am going to paint them up a little bit and get that red center back in them, clean them, and that should complete our look. Hey, check this out. They're dry, sharp. Just a little bit of Windex and paint. These look just fine. We got mismatching though. We're gonna put these two that kind of match on this side and the other two that don't match these on the other side. All right, there we go. Sure. Something like that. Yep. guy did catch wind that right down the road here, I don't know, 10, 15 miles, there's a feller that's got a bunch of old wreckers and cars and trucks and even old buildings that he's restoring. So we're going to jump in the Stewart, go for a cruise, see if we can find this place, check out some old stuff. It really is a shame it doesn't run just a little more Gruderist. It would be a lot of fun to road trip this thing. But it's going good. We still got a lot of oil pressure. It's charging. It's running about 190 now. It did get a little hot there. But now we got some wind coming through the teeth. It's doing a lot better. Well, we made it to Jerry's Wrecker Service, and there is a lot of eye candy. It's hard to take it in. There's trucks and wreckers and fuel trucks, and I see a 50 fastback Chevy and a school bus and a diner, and there's a lot. So let's start climbing around this place. Jerry himself is here. Let's dig in. Golly! Look at this Chevrolet. Okay, so I was expecting some old cars, but I did not know they've got a bunch of beautifully restored vehicles. Check this out. Look at this cab over. A 1947 auto transport trailer hooked to it. That would haul 4 classic cars back in the day from Detroit to wherever. Could you imagine muscling that thing around, no AC, out in the middle of absolutely nowhere? Hey, Jerry.
Hey.
How's it going?
All right. How about you?
Good. Thanks for having us out here. This is incredible.
Thank you. Thank you.
How many vehicles do you think you have on your property here?
80 vehicles?
Yeah, trucks.
300.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
He's got me beat. Okay, so this thing really stands out for me. This is a 1946 Flexible, and I heard that you took it as a bus and converted it to an RV?
Correct.
And you actually traveled in this thing,
Correct.
I heard.
Yeah, made it in an RV inside. Pretty much like an Airstream laid out.
Well, this is very cool. So obviously you've got a wrecker service, but you're clearly into classic automobiles.
Yeah, that's my, yeah.
You love the Chevys, it looks like.
Yeah.
You've got fastbacks and coupes and business coupes and convertibles and all sorts of stuff around here. Looks like 48 to 52 is kind of your window you
exactly.
like. Yeah. Let's look at this fastback quick. These are my favorite. I love the fastbacks.
Yeah, even in the 4-door, they look good.
They do. Yeah. So how long you had this one?
Oh, I've only had that one about 5 years finished.
I see some sort of rumble seat spare tire back here. What's in that
That's
room?
a 31 Ford, 5 window.
Okay.
One leg.
And 58 million trophies. I'm assuming those are from car shows.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. I got to step foot in your diner a little bit ago, and I've heard of restoring cars and trucks and buses, which is a huge challenge, but actually taking a full diner and restoring it. Did that seem overwhelming? I mean, I wouldn't even know where to start.
No, actually, I enjoyed that probably more than the cars. And if you get to look at that diner, it's pretty much like doing a car. It's all metal.
There's so much to look at. I'm getting giddy here. But thanks so much for the time.
Nice meeting you.
Appreciate it so much. And you got a beautiful collection. My goodness. This is just one example of the car community and how they're just always great people. We didn't know Jerry from Adam until just a few minutes ago, but they're just like-minded folks and they're good people. Plus, driving these old classic cars, there's nothing that compares to this. Yes, they're loose and kind of hard to handle and whatever else, but you can actually feel the car. You feel the road underneath of you. You actually have to drive the thing. You know, the manual on the column and four-wheel drum manual brakes and things like that. It is absolutely enjoyable. If you've never done it, give it a shot. If you have one in your backyard or shed or lean-to or garage, stop procrastinating. Get it on the road.
'Cause it's too cold for you here and now, so let me hold both your hands in the holes of my sweater. And all I am is a man. I want the world in my hands. I hate the beach, but I stand in California with my toes in the sand. Use the sleeves of my sweater. Let's have an adventure. Head in the clouds, but my gravity's centered. Touch my neck and I'll touch yours. You in those little high-waisted shorts. Oh, she knows what I think about and what I think about. One love, two mouths. One love, one house. No shirt, no blouse. Just us to find out. Nothing that I wouldn't want to tell you about. No, 'cause it's too cold for you here and now, so let me hold both your hands in the holes of my sweater. And if I may just take a breath away, I don't mind if there's not much to say. Sometimes the silence guides a mind to move to a place so far away. Yeah, the goosebumps start to race the minute that my left hand meets your waist. And then I watch your face, put my finger on your tongue 'cause you love the taste, yeah. These hearts adore everyone the other beats hardest for. Inside this place is warm, outside it starts to pour. Coming down, one love, two mouths. One love, one house. No shirt, no blouse. Just us to find out. Nothing that I wouldn't wanna tell you about. No, no, no. 'Cause it's too cold for you here and now, so let me hold both your hands in the holes of my sweater.
Rescues, I put a Thunderbird back on the road after 30 years and make it look killer, and then that immediately happens to me. That's fine. Last time on Roadworthy Rescues, you saw a guy trying to pull this T-Bird from Texas to Tennessee with this old Travelall. The guy found this really cool 1968 Ford T-Bird way down in Texas, but it was physically stuck in this garage. The wheels were locked up. It was covered in dew. It was terrible. So we decided to get this old Travelall, which also hadn't run in almost 30 years. It's running! Yes! Sounds terrible. Perfect. For this rig to go down the road, let alone tow something, I had to do some upgrades. Threw on a 4-barrel intake, 4-barrel carb, put in a water pump, fixed the ignition, and a few other doodads. Don't worry about that. The only thing this is going to pull is ex-wives. Oh, great. Got it fired up and literally drug the T-Bird out of the garage. We might have hit a couple things, but mostly unscathed. now I'm trying to pull this T-Bird 800 miles from Texas all the way back to Tennessee. So far, she's pulling great. Got no temp gauge, got no oil pressure, got no fuel gauge. Actually, I do have a fuel gauge. It's called Look. We're about half the tank. It was going really good until, well, it wasn't. Oh, something is terribly amiss. Yeah, let's pull off here. I got a lot of smoke in the cab. Now there's power steering and motor oil and transmission oil everywhere. Hey, good morning. Truck's doing great. Well, I said last night it was doing great. What I failed to mention was it's exploding oil out of every single thing that holds oil. Power steering line burst, sprayed it all over the manifold. Transmission pan is leaking. The oil has ejected everywhere, so I'm trying to doll that up this morning, figure that out. Gonna hook up the crankcase ventilation system, hopefully reduce the pressure in the block, and maybe eliminate some of that one to come out the top end. Oil-soaked air filter, that's okay. They used to do that back in the old days. Got air up a tire on the Turd Bird, and we're gonna hit the road. Had a rainy, gloomy day, but that's okay. We're gonna get some nice sights in and just cruise. Have a good day at 55, 60. Call it 700 miles to go in Texas to Bicycle Garage in Tennessee. Well, day 2 on the road so far is going very well. We're getting about 5.4 miles to the gallon. Nice. It handles great. The old Internationals, what a tow rig. But this has been a good trip so far. I hope it remains to be uneventful, i.e. the transmission stays in the trunk. That'd be great. You gotta turn left when you brake. You gotta keep your head on the swivel. Moses, sandals! You're speeding, sir! I gotta fix this mirror. That took me aback. The jam on the brakes, it built enough pressure where it must have blew a rear brake line. The rear pod is completely empty. But we've been traveling in rain all day, so everything is dripping and weeping right now. So that means we have to try to do brake line surgery right here, I guess. The good news is I didn't miss church this week. That's pretty cool. Midas eat your heart out. We got church brakes. Okay, front drums, shoes adjusted. They're theoretically automatic, but I can't back up and let them auto-adjust the late. So I spooned them out with the flathead screwdriver, so where they're slightly dragging. Now we'll have good front brakes again. Turns out we don't have a pop line in the back. We might have a weeping wheel cylinder, so I'm just going to bleed the master cylinder, plug the line back in, and top it off every time we get fuel. Okay, let's go. Well, good morning. Last night was an adventure. What a drive. Between poor visibility, my poor eyesight, no power steering, and flooded roads, you know, the Honda Maximuses were burning. But we made it in. However, this morning I did decide to go ahead and replace this wheel cylinder. Apparently after they sit for 30 years, if you double stomp it with size 13s, they just blow it out, you know. She's not looking so hot. It'd be nice to have something with brakes, so we're gonna fix this up quick. Rebuilding, brand new, all that brake fluid. And then I can't remember how many miles left, 300 something, and then we'll finally make it back to Tennessee. Hopefully nothing else happens. If it ain't bread, leave it in the shed. International. We're getting like 5 miles to the gallon and we got a headwind today, so it's gonna be less, but we're headed to the Natchez Trace Trail. We got a few stops planned along the way. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Hopefully, fingers crossed, nothing else happens bad. I took a right turn to check the oil and ended up on a section line betwixt some row crops here. I did have the turd bird clean, but now it's probably full of mud. On the road again. About to go to Natchez Trace again. You know, when it comes to these old vehicles and reviving them, other than the history and story of the vehicle itself, my favorite thing is the journey home. And in this case, we're just now turning on the Natchez Trace, which boasts thousands of years of history. It's a 444-mile scenic drive that extends through 3 states, and American Indians have traveled on it. European settlers, traders, trappers, soldiers, presidents, you name it. And this highway closely follows the original path. I've never been on it. I heard it's breathtaking. It's got plenty of turns and ups and downs and vegetation and trees and you name it. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Might as well enjoy the trip. Oh, I like the speed limit too, 50. Right up our alley. Nacho Trail. I hope it has cheese and jalapeno. Some hamburger wouldn't hurt. And maybe some olives and onion. Oh, we made it. Bicycle Garage, South Central Tennessee, 800 miles. We found this international travel law in a backyard. It was sitting for almost 30 years. Got it fired up and hit the road. And not only did it drive 800 miles, it towed 800 miles. That Ford big block turd bird back there. Speaking of which, you're going to see that next. So stay tuned. It's going to be a lot of fun. Well, it was a very late night driving through the pouring rain. Well, pretty much rained the whole journey, but we actually made it here. And that in itself, in my opinion, is a massive win. We found the 68 Thunderbird sitting in a garage for almost 30 years, but it was just too disgusting to work on in that case. Now you can finally see in light how nasty this car is. It is terrible. I've been doing this for a couple decades now, and this one is up there. Oh, the wind is really kicking it up. So I think I'm just going to throw a mask on, get some gloves on, roll the floor mats up, and then I'm going to vacuum this outside and try to get that to just blow into the cattle up there. Sorry about that. Note to self, don't eat hamburger this year. Okay, so let's get the vacuum and just get to work here. Definitely want to be upwind. Basically the same rules for farts. Such a disturbing sound. That's how wet the carpet is. Hazard pay. This is how I die. This is exactly how I die.
This was a terrible purchase. Completely full. Oh my gosh. I've heard that sound. Got a carcass. Oh, there went another one. We got 2 mice.
I have never. This is worse than the Mustang, I think. How's your day going? Mine's a little duty. Sorry about that one. Anyway, now that we can stand next to this without carrying around an IV bag, let's fire up the pressure washer and see what the outside looks like. We're gonna soak this whole thing down with your standard dish soap, let it sit for a minute, pressure wash it again, and then I might actually have to touch it with a rag or something. Ugh. That's wild. You can see all the grease on it, it's just shedding right off like a wax job. There's a potato chip company I'm gonna leave unnamed that made potato chips. And through the broken window that the raccoons came through, all that fryer grease kind of congealed and mixed with the urine and poo and made this layer here. But the hope is we want to uncover what is supposed to be a brand new paint job under this. Huh. Doesn't look like I did anything the last hour. Status report, it's now high noon, and the car looks exactly the same. Chemicals galore, tried scrubbing it, pressure washing it. Whatever the potato chip raccoon combination is, it's stuck to this paint. How about this? Let's get it in the shed, and let's just see if this thing runs, right? And like moves stuff before we put 97 hours of labor into the paint. Although it would go on Craigslist well that way. Lots of receipts could run. So I've already plugged off a vacuum leak. We borrowed permanently the vacuum check valve for the brake booster for the travel wall, which got us here. Looks like we got completed. We got lightning whirler in it. All the hoses are on. So we're just going to hit it with a hot battery. Luckily enough, Ford and Mopar have what's called a steel me junction. Essentially, we don't need a key to even fire this thing up. And since the key is on the dash on this, it doesn't even lock the steering wheel. So if a guy can get a hood open, boom, free T-bird. All I'm going to do here is jump power to the coil, and then I'm going to jump power from the battery to my start solenoid over here, and we'll be able to crank this thing over. That's pretty good, and then just a little splash. That was way too much. Bring in the thunders. Yeah. She's a runner. Valve train isn't clanking. Means it's probably making oil pressure. Water pump isn't froze up, none of that stuff. It's like it was shut off yesterday. Minus the missing and shaking and smoking and barely running. I was hoping that would be a lot harder because now I have to do something with the paint, don't I? Victorious! So here's the plan. I don't really have one, other than this has to get into the shop. We're west of Rusty Acres up here on Motor Mountain. We gotta aim for Valve Cover Valley. We don't know if it moves because we don't have a drive shaft and I'm not hitting the brake pedal. So, surfing in the USA! Oh boy, oh boy. Ain't nothing zip ties and vice grips can't fix. Okay, now we're going to lift this up with the forks, and then I'm going to side shift it over onto the lift because we're about to fall off. I hooked my peepers onto the car. The trunk floor is absolutely gone, so we're not damaging anything, so just relax, okay? Ouch, my head. So I got my buddy here, Kevin Tates from Paint Education. He's been around collision, hot rods, custom builds, you name it, stuff like this. I'm hoping if anybody knows what to do, it's you with this vehicle. So here's the deal with this car. We found it in this old cinder block garage. Urine, fryer grease, 30 years of dirt and dust. We tried to power wash it and clean it and scrub it. We were told by this old man, I painted it fresh, parked it in the garage, and that was it. So I want to know, is it a fresh paint job? Is it the original color? And then see if we can bring it back, because I don't want to have a knee-jerk reaction and just say, well, let's just paint it again, or let's just clear it, or let's just leave it.
Well, the last thing you want to do is start throwing harsh stuff at it. What I always do is just do an inspection. If it's a good paint job, they're taking trim off, and they're going to put the trim back on after the paint. If it's a quick and dirty, they're taping stuff up, and they're working around it. So right here, you see this antenna bezel?
Yep.
You see the paint buildup there?
Oh, yeah.
Bam. There you go. Strike one. Right here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, strike two. And in the door jambs, the seals are painted too.
Oh, everything.
Everything, the VIN numbers, all that type of stuff. So we know that maybe this was a drug running mule or something like that. And somebody ran it through a barn just like a Smokey and the Bandit and shot it real quick. So it's probably not the best quality paint. It's an aftermarket paint job, and that's fine. So we know what we're working with. Because of the way this looks, even through the dirt, I can see it's fairly glossy. It's a single-stage paint job over top of the original paint. So you're kind of winning on that level. And it's, for the most part, in pretty okay shape. So if we can revive this paint, you can probably make it look really good, Derek.
That's what I was looking forward to hearing. Yes. All right, show me how to clean this.
All right, so we're going to go least aggressive first. That's always the best thing. That way we're not doing any damage unless we have to. So I've got a citrus cleaner. There's a lot of different companies that have that. And citrus cleaners, if you know, I mean, they're really super strong. All right, let's see what that did.
Oh, yeah, that's way more gooder.
Wow. I mean, look at the contrast already. That's 30 seconds with a good cleaner on it. That gets us home. So now let's see how thick that paint is.
Okay.
Now, this is going to be a combination of the original paint and whatever else they put on it. Holy smokes. Okay.
Is that a good holy smokes?
That's a lot. Okay, so for instance, your average new vehicle has got 6 to 10 mils.
We've got 40?
Total film. We've got 44.72 mils. There's a lot of paint on there. It may have more than one paint job on it. Or it's super thick, or they put 5 coats on. My guess, we'd probably safe to sand and polish if we have to.
Okay.
But before we clean it and sand it, all of it, let's see what we can do with the small spot. See if just polish will bring it up. This is my go-to for almost everything. It's aggressive, but it polishes out super smooth. It's kind of a one-step for me. So it's a water-based compound, which is really good. So I don't know about you.
Oh, wow.
But I can comb my hair in that. Within a few minutes, you've got a recipe to wake this thing up.
If the whole car looks like this, that's pretty good. Well, thanks, man. I knew you'd be the guy to call. It sounds like we could make this thing shine, but I think first step is we should probably make it run and drive. We'll deal with this a little bit later. But, man, thank you so much.
No problem, man.
This has been great.
This is fun. I want to ride in this thing.
Did you smell it yet?
No.
Don't do it. Well, now that we know that it could potentially look really sharp and that this runs somewhat okay-ish, I think we go ahead and spend the time, dig into this engine and make it run a lot better. Now, we think this is a 460, fairly certain, based on the identification plate on the valve cover, and it's obviously a big block, but 460s didn't come in this year T-Bird. So it's been swapped in from most likely a mid to late 70s truck motor, which would put out a whopping 200-some horse, let's be honest. However, they are fairly torquey motors. Nothing beats a big block in that aspect. But this stock style intake and this Motorcraft fuel make it happener, That's got to go. Here's an idea. What if we put a new performance dual plane intake on this and put a Holley Sniper on this thing and let it tune itself? And we'll get maximum horsepower, fuel economy, ease of starts, all of that. And then we'll obviously do an ignition tune-up. We'll put an HEI in it, dump the coil and points, put an exhaust system on this. We should have a tire-frying Ford big block. Or at least that's the idea. I'm going to start by taking the hood off, and then we've just got to thrash and get all of the garbly gook, whatnots, and accoutrements off of this engine. Oh, I don't think that was right. I mean, so far, I'm enjoying this, gotta be honest. That's better. Oh my goodness. Corpus Christi. I'm gonna have to try to pluck all that out. This is oil from the 60s and 70s. It's a very high mile motor that has not been taken care of. So, we're gonna try to take care of it. We're trying to get all the huge, giant chunks of stuff out of here because the lifter cups are just full of this junk. And I don't want to have one of these lifters go flat or something like that. These push rods and the lifters need to spin in these bores, and they ride on the cam lobe. This cam lobe here is a good example, only part of it's shiny because it actually has a taper on it, which makes that lifter rotate with the push rod. If that gets full of this gum and varnish and buildup, it's not going to move. And it's just going to smoke one of these lifters or a cam lobe. So I'm trying to flush all of this back into the pan, but I want this to get as clean as possible before we cover it back up with a shiny new intake. So guys been working away at this, and now it's bone dry. It is just, because brake clean dissipates quickly and dries up. So I'm going to use some of this valve train assembly spray, and this is typically used when you assemble an engine, but it helps against initial dry starts, which we're going to have here until it builds oil pressure again. There. Now intake time. What are you doing? Pretty good, Pat. That's why I keep them around. So here we've got a dual plane intake. This one's by Wyan. We'll be able to get our Holley Sniper up on this here. And it's still got the provision for the standard or factory throttle cable, so that's pretty nice. It's just got 74 different pipe plugs we got to plug up, but we'll do that down the road. So here we have a points distributor. So inside of here you can see the contacts or points, and as it rotates, it opens and closes. This is cool, it's great, it works, but we're going to be upgrading it to a GM style HEI or high energy ignition. And basically this has the coil built in. Everything is right here. All we need to do is just hit it with 12 volts and bam, upgraded. So we should have a better, more consistent, more reliable spark. And we'll figure out timing later. Went ahead and put some new valve covers on. Just decided to plop these on. They were cheap enough. Got our new intake on. And then our Sniper, which is basically fuel injection, right? So we're going to be able to maximize our horsepower, fuel economy, easy starts, and all of that stuff. This is a new Sniper 2. They actually moved the ECU in these. Instead of having it up front right next to the HEI, they've switched it around over here. I've been told it's taken care of the RFI issues sometimes that you would get with that. So now I just got to dig through this manual here, start figuring out, well, digicals. I don't like them. I'm going to have to figure it out, though. Fade to black commercials. So our T-Bird's got what we assume is a late 70s smogged out 460. They don't make a ton of horsepower. They do make some torque. So we're trying to snooze this thing up a little bit, hopefully turn it into a tire fryer. Guys had a really productive day. I'm feeling pretty good about where we're at with the rig. Fairly close to trying to fire this thing back up on EFI. Linkage is done. Vacuum lines are done. Vacuum line of the booster's in. Our ignition system is complete. We got lightning hoses, sparkulators in. We've got the lines run to the sniper as well. We've also got the new fuel tank, fuel straps, new fuel sending unit, fuel pump and fuel filter in the rear. Now I just need to run the lines up to the front of the car and plug her into the unit. Woo! That's hotter than Shania Twain in the 90s. How do I live without you? Just tell me. I want to know. So a guy's wiring up the Holly sniper up front here, and I'm to the point I need to find a 12-volt switched source. And to do that, you need a key. Found the key. Mark this one off the list. I don't like the fact that my head's so far into this car. Oh, by the way, had the seats sent off to get reupholstered because they were that terrible. They should be back soon. And that's good. You want new seats when your T-Bird doesn't run. Wait, is this the first roadworthy car with a key? That's pretty good. It's only season 3. It works. We have an ignition stick, and never mind. We had a spare. We have one key. It's pretty good. Come here, cat. I will not feed you if you do not come here. Fine.
Well, little June bug.
Time for exhaust. I've got my friend Chad here from Volunteer Muffler out of Cookeville, Tennessee. And we want to do true duals. This had some really neck-down exhaust with some old muffler, chambered kind of mufflers on it. We want it to be a little bit more loud, kind of a nice grumble tone at idle, but, you know, we feed the onions to her. We want it to be loud.
That's right.
And then I got some Black Widow, I think they're called neighbor haters. So we tried them on that Trans Am. They sounded pretty good.
They did. They sound really good on that car.
This is also low compression, high cube, so we should have a similar tone to that. It is going to completely transform the look of this car. While he's doing that, I'm putting the drive shaft back in so Chad can fit the exhaust. He's going to swoop down and then snug it in towards the drive pole, and then he'll come back out. But he needs us in here to check his clearances and stuff like that.
Eric, can I borrow that 4-footer?
Oh, hey, Schmidt. Yeah, there.
What are you doing?
Oh, fuel pump.
Nice.
Yeah. Good seeing you.
You two will be on the other side of the partition.
All my screwdrivers are gone. Every tool's missing. Got no lights. Someone drank my Christmas coffee. Well, it was a busy day at the YouTube headquarters Vice Grip Garage. We got this build going on here. You got Chad back there banging on the muffler machine. You got my friends over here in the other bay working on a pickup. You got Roadkill, Freiburg, and Spell working on a turbo Firebird Trans Am thing. There's a lot happening.
You want to try it again and see if I got to do it one more time?
Yep. We're gonna lose the shop if we don't get this done. Somehow, some way, the Chad, the muffler man himself, has tweaked in some 2.5 exhaust pipes up and over, and we're just setting up the tip right now. You gotta have tips and jips, you know what I mean? Now instead of 1.5 water line hanging out the back, got real exhaust. That looks good, Chad. Great work.
Thank you, sir.
So Chappelle and Freiberger have successfully installed a transmission. They're gonna see if it's gonna shift. This is one of those face finds. Rebuilt lots of receipts, you know.
Well, now that we broadcasted it, I think we're ready to like bump it up and get out of here.
Thanks for having us.
Anytime. See you guys. Drive safe. No problem. Oh, it's got brake lights. Wow. Jeez. And I said one cookie. Don't leave a trail. I've never even tore it up this bad. This is pretty entertaining. That's about 15 bales down there. The inspection cover slamming on the torque converter sounds awesome. Well, you know, it won't overheat. That's good. So Chad's all finished with the exhaust. That looks fantastic. I can't wait to hear that. I'm going to move on to this Holly and finishing it up so we can fire this thing up. Normally, we'd be doing the EFI handheld, which is a little 3.5-inch screen where you can enter a tune and monitor the system and all the vitals of the engine. But they have something new out. It's like a Bluetooth puck thing. I don't know. Apparently, you can run from your digital pocket computer device. So I'm going to throw that somewhere in the car, and we're going to tune this thing with our phone, and then we're going to be able to go through the paces, create a bass tune, and then it should fire. There's the fuel pump. Let it build a little pressure. Oh, Lord have mercy. Take this up. Take a peek. Yep. This is what happens when you're working on 3 vehicles at once. This is because of roadkill right here. All right? Paying attention to detail. Forgot where I was. And they owe me like 14 hay bales. I'm right in HR. See if it fires. Oh, look at that! Wow! It's already idling down. Look at that. Well, I was going to say adjust the timing, but then again, I put it in, so it's, you know. It's dialed. Oh! Just like that. Went from I don't like, not good, to yes. And it's very loud. Very, very loud. We might get a burnout out of this. She's charging. She's right at 13.5 air fuel. TPS or the IAX at 1, which is perfect. That means our throttle position sensor and how we have the idle set is right where the computer wants to see it, and it is currently learning. So the more it sits, the more it learns. The more you drive, the more it learns. It just gets smarter and smarter. Just like the mufflers suggest. My neighbors probably hate me now. I think that's going to do it for tonight. It runs, it's alive, but tomorrow we've got like brakes, and then we should probably check if it like shifts into gear and is going to move and stuff. And then lastly, that stuff. Okay. Well, good morning. We're back on the Undeterred we found down in Texas. We pulled her back to Tennessee here, and we're going through this thing, trying to get it back on the road. Got it running late last night. Man, it sounds so good with the exhaust and the Holley Sniper on this thing. But we got one problem. There's absolutely no brake hardware. Well, at least on this side. This wheel was locked solid when we pulled it out of the garage with the travel wall. So I'm going to start going through the brakes. I at least need hardware here to see if the master cylinder is doing anything with the brake juice, and we'll go from there. Buckle up. This is another brake job. Woo! Oh, sesquicentennial. 200 years. That's not right. Is that 150 years? 8th grade, coming back. Now, it is time to tackle this. It's time to tackle this paint. I don't know what Kevin did. I scrubbed this roof until I almost caved it in, and then he just showed up and went, ooh, look, why am I here? That's great. So I'm gonna do the same thing. Citrus cleaner, rags, literal elbow grease, get all of this gross, yucky stuff off, and then start buffing. And while that's gonna happen, new windshield, because we can't see out of it, and it's also broken. As a reminder, this is a really potent mix of potato chip, fryer grease, raccoon and rat pee, and the very authentic 3-decade garage dust. So many people passed on this car this guy was selling. Super nice guy. But no one wanted this car because of how terrible it smelled and all of the feces and urine in the vehicle. And I just want to say for the record, they were smart. I was not. Vibrating, but listen, paint is clean. The paint is polished, and we got the windshield in. So now it's finally time to do something with the interior. Finished. Okay. Look at this beautiful 68 Thunderbird. There are so many people, well, rightfully so, that would have passed and did pass on this T-Bird when I opened up that garage door. But I saw a ton of potential in this car. And as you can see, it is a qualified and certified going to town rig. We had to address the engine first off. It didn't run very good. We hopped it up with a 4-barrel intake, put a Holley Sniper 2 on it, addressed some of the belts and hoses and ignition and lightning hoses and sparkulators, new fuel system, fuel tank, sending unit lines, filters, and a digital pump to go along with that. We had to fix the brakes in the back and got all new drums, shoes, hardware. We also put new soft lines in it. Speaking of stopping, we got these new 17s and they look incredible. It really completes the look. It kind of John Wickish. Except I don't know how to, I just hurt my back actually on that one. Interior, boy, that was an absolute disaster, an unhealthy one. But look at it now, it's got new carpet, reupholstered front seats, looks great, and that's all it literally took. New windshield, and of course the paint. The guy was not barking up a tree. This is brand new paint that is now 30 years old, terribly done, but man, after cutting it and buffing it, it absolutely shines and looks brilliant. And of course, the whole journey started by using that travel all on the hill to yank this thing out of the garage. We literally drug it into the street and then towed it 800 miles back here to Tennessee so we could start digging in. Now my favorite part, let's go put this thing on the road, have some fun with it. Sun's going down. First impression? Yes. 30 years this car sat in that little garage. And it's just too bad it was parked. It's actually not that bad other than the leaking brake booster you hear right now. Seems to ride decent. Ready? Ah! We didn't roll into the ditch. It's pretty good. I don't have an oil pressure gauge, which is probably good, but everything else is doing fine so far. Horn works. What else do you need? So many people would have passed on this thing, and it's a shame. I'm glad we could get it back on the road. It's a sleek car. Fun to look at. so far really fun to drive. Not bad. Cows are heading for water already. Oh no! I did not make it far. Already hot. Oh boy. It's pretty sweet while it lasted. 3rd degree burns on my hand. Ouch. It's at least 290 degrees. So it's probably a bad water pump. Something similar. I am going to let it cool down and drive it just a little bit farther because it's fun driving. And it looks great. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Roadworthy Rescues, but stay tuned, there's plenty more to save. Oh, and this does prove you can polish a turd.